Good afternoon, Andy Hart. How are you?
I am tremendous. Happy early Thanksgiving, because John Anderson just chastised me when I said Happy Thanksgiving when I connected. Tomorrow.
Oh my God! Yeah, he's grumpy today.
That's a gross interpretation of how I said it, but whatever.
You're gross.
Anyway,
You're short.
See, here we go.
right,
This
this
guy,
is not great.
you just
That's
put
what
it in
are you thankful for, Hart? Give us 10 things.
10 things I'm thankful for.
$1 million swing sets.
Number one, that I am not John Anderson.
Hey, we have more alike than you realize. We found out, Keith, when Andy was in for you. Andy doesn't even realize it, but he's a full-blown communist, and we both have IBS, so that's two
Well,
things.
that is true. We do have IBS.
There's that shared connection of the loose bowels, or sometimes not so. Loose.
I was just going to say,
Loose morals.
oh, boy, they're sharing charts.
Yeah. Well,
Well, there you go.
big game tomorrow.
That's right. Here we go. Speaking of that, after you eat Thanksgiving dinner and you hope you don't
Yes.
crap yourself, by the way, you and Fitzy, so Fartsy will have the Six Rings post-game show.
Indeed. Late at night, liquored up.
I was going to say,
Uh,
full of eggnog. Andy Hart breaking down the game.
Yeah, I broke the seal last night. First
Good for you.
whiskey eggnog of the season. I took the advice of Rich Keefe, who said, treat yourself.
Treat
So I
yourself.
did.
Oh, it's cold. It's you need that eggnog now. It goes down so
Man.
smooth.
I just
Plus, it's
can't
a
get
holiday
into it.
week, so
Yes.
it's a holiday season. So,
Yeah.
get it going.
Yes.
You two
Gotta go
guys
stop by
are two of the people who would find any excuse to drink eggnog, right?
Correct. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's,
Yeah.
it's the
4th
World
of
Cup.
July.
Oh, throw it down.
Well,
World Cup.
I don't know. Could I stomach it on the boat on 4th of
Oh,
July?
no,
It just doesn't.
no. Eggnog,
okay.
no. It's got to be cold.
Yeah. No, it
Same with
doesn't.
even October beers. With the
Do
October
they not make
beers,
ice in the summer?
Well, no, but
you don't
in the
really-
sun, it's 80 degrees out. Am I
thick.
going to be holding an eggnog?
No.
I feel like my belly would not feel good.
No,
after
it would
that.
not. You'd have a tough belly time.
Will the Patriots have a tough time scoring against a Minnesota defense that gives up a lot of passing yards and is not good in the red zone?
Terrible in the red zone. So you have the second worst NFL red zone offense against the worst red zone defense. So I believe Rich Keefe famously likes to say, some things gotta give.
Oh, for sure. Something does.
I don't feel great about the Patriots offense. I know there's
Yeah, I mean, how
reason
could
for
you? Yeah, how could you?
I mean, there's
Hot
reason
take.
for hope.
WEEI.com.
Andy Hart doesn't love the Patriots offense.
On paper, the Patriots passing
Take it from
game
WEEI.
and the red zone efficiency of the offense is a little bit better than the red zone efficiency. So theoretically, I should feel optimistic coming off a month of games against much better defenses. The Jets are a much better defense. The Colts are a better defense. You know, the defensive line. You're not facing a DeForest Buckner or a Quinnen Williams this week. So there should be some optimism. I just don't have it. This idea that Max says, well, we just got to flick the switch.
I don't like that.
What is going to happen when you flip this magical switch? Are you guys going to bring Gronk back, bring McDaniels back, because what is that switch actually going to activate? I feel like the switch leads to nothing. And so, no, I don't feel, and the game in general, I know everybody is fixating on, they got blown out by the Cowboys, and they are the only 8-2 team ever with a negative point differential. Yeah, I also think they're a little dangerous. Those Justin Jefferson comments after the game, kind of chastising Kevin O'Connell for not adjusting the offense and going to a short passing game. I feel like the opportunity is lost. Dallas pounced on the opportunity. Now you may have slapped silly the Vikings into being more dangerous on a short week and maybe actually adjusting their game plan and getting the ball to their dynamic playmakers. So, yeah, I'm not sure this is a great spot for the Patriots.
I also feel like the Patriots offensively in the red zone are very much, they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. And Gresh and I were talking about, insofar as if they're really aggressive, it seems like that ends up leading to sacks or penalties or whatever, and they got further out of field goal range. But if you just settle for the field goal, you're not going to win a lot of games that way either. But because their defense is good, should that actually be the strategy? Once you get in there, you need to walk away with 3 points, and 3 points is actually considered a win with how bad they've been?
Absolutely. The formula for the Patriots to win games, their identity that we've talked about all year, I think has come into fruition, come into clarity. Yeah, their defense is good. How good? Maybe we'll start to find out in the coming weeks. But they're good. They're way better than the offense. Mm-hmm. We've known that since August when they were whooping the offense's butt on the practice field. So we know the defense is good. We know your special teams is pretty good and maybe even getting better. with the evolution of Marcus Jones, the addition of Michael Pilardi, and the strength of your offense is your running backs. So, like, there's an obvious cliche, it's 40 years ago. We're just going to run the ball, play defense, and play special teams. So, yes, I think you take the points. I don't think you want to be overly aggressive. The flip side of that is I do think the Vikings are going to score points on you. This is not Zach Wilson. I know it is Kirk Cousins in primetime, and there's people holding out hope that that's like the overbearing factor in this game, but I don't think you can win this game just with one of these famous Nick Folk 5 field goals. Oh, we'll win it 15-10. I think the Vikings are going to be at the very least in the high teens and probably in the 20s. So blending the way you're made up with picking your spots to be a little bit more aggressive to try to get points, I think that's going to be where the key to this game lies.
Well, here's one of the things that we haven't talked about and why I'm optimistic for the Patriots, at least in this one, to not blow doors or anything, but to figure a way to win. And you mentioned it. Kevin O'Connell, Bill Belichick. How big a mismatch is that, especially on a short week, or does it really matter?
No, it obviously matters. Coaching matters in football. Maybe not as much as people like to make it out to be, but it definitely matters. And, there's a respect level. Some of those comments, those old comments that Bill kind of saw Kevin O'Connell as a future coach way back when, basically when he was cutting him.
When he cut him, yeah.
When he said, listen, you don't have a future as a player,
Can't
but
play.
I think you can coach. And that's the old saying, those who can't coach, those who can't teach. It's like that old saying. So Kevin O'Connell has taken that, run with it. Now, he's obviously latched on more to the McVay tree and system, but he has a knowledge of what the Patriots do from his time in New England. And if he's as smart as Bill thought he was at the time, you or I might just forget that, right? Oh, it's been more than a decade. I don't remember anything. But if Kevin O'Connell is an astute football mind, I'm guessing he has notes, notebooks, memories, things that give him insight into the Patriots world. But that doesn't necessarily succeed on a short week in a game setting, right? When it's hitting the fan or the game is declaring. And I think that's what Justin Jefferson was complaining about last week in his comments. Like, Kevin O'Connell, you didn't adjust. Like, we need to adjust. You didn't do things quick enough to give us a chance in a game that was going south. It snowballed south in part because you didn't adjust.
And that's pretty rough that those comments didn't get more run nationally then. Because that's like your best player calling out the head coach.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think he was really I hate Kevin O'Connell, this guy's an idiot, calling out the head coach kind of thing. But it was like a teachable moment, like, hey, Kevin O'Connell, that's something we need to learn from as we advance. And I do think, as good as the Vikings are in terms of 8-2, like, that's a good record. And their losses are good losses. Like, I don't think it's a shameful loss. Now, the way they lost to the Cowboys is a little bit shameful.
Smoked, but
when CBS is like, we interrupt to get this game off most TVs as fast as possible.
It was like USA Angola Dream Team basketball. Like, we're not going to show you the rest of this.
We'll take you to Pittsburgh for the Steelers. It's like, wait, what? They got 3 wins.
But at least on paper, they've lost to the Cowboys and to the Eagles, right? Those are kind of Super Bowl contenders, NFC title game contenders. But I also think on paper, their offense is better than it's been. I think they have all the makings to be a truly elite offense. When you look at Pro Bowl caliber running back, Pro Bowl or All-Pro caliber receiver, and Pro Bowl All-Pro caliber tight end in Hawkinson, a number 2 receiver in Thielen.
Put us in the block, though.
Well, and that's one of the issues in this game is Darisaw, who has quickly become what is considered one of the elite left tackles in the game. And if you do a little research out of Minnesota, apparently a lot of Dalvin Cook's big plays are basically
to that side.
Run behind him. He's at the point of attack,
Yeah.
and then you take advantage at the second level of your playmaking ability. So that's an area where I'm intrigued. Now, again, though, is Kevin O'Connell a green enough coach so that a week after they get their butts whooped by Dallas's pass rush, taking advantage of the left tackle situation, sacking Kirk Cousins 7 times, is he going to allow Matt Judon to do the same thing? Even though Judon's really good, Defensive Player of the Year candidate, 13 sacks, leads the NFL, is he really that dumb? Or is he going to figure out a way to at least slow that down or go to the quick passing game and hit Cook out of the backfield, hit slants to Justin Jefferson?
Big Hawk.
Big Hawk.
Yeah, so I it's an interesting coaching matchup in that, but I would argue this. Which coach would you rather have right now just based on this year?
Yeah, well,
Well, I still want
That's
Bill.
not an answer. Yeah,
No,
well.
I mean,
No, I'm thinking about it,
You still
'cause-
want Bill because
he
again,
was good 5 years ago?
Well, no. Well, yeah, the defense is terrible. I mean, but that's the thing. Like, what? No, but what I'm saying is that we look at Bill and it's like, yes, the offense, and now Bill, the personnel guy, the dude,
including the guy who hired the the other coaches.
There
That
you
guy
go,
is,
right.
is obviously.
I don't think
screwed up.
Bill forgot how to coach. I think Bill has set up a terrible structure.
He has.
And in a moment like this, I would still want Bill, managing the clock, managing late in the game. First-year head coaches always make those mistakes.
Failing to find his challenge flag when he wants to challenge a
Did have a
block
hard time
punt.
with that one.
Right.
No, didn't have a hard time. Couldn't find it in time.
Yeah,
Left
difficult.
sock, right sock. Ernie, where the hell's my damn flag, Ernie?
Well,
It's
the
in your
power was
shorts.
out. Where were they going to get the replay from to begin with?
Where would
There
you
was all
keep
that
your
going
red
on.
flag?
Bill's got it right in the side. I think back pocket.
Back
So
pocket
it's
would be
easy
good.
to find.
I would
I
just
think
actually
I'd put it in my hoodie, in the pocket in my hoodie. He always wears a hoodie.
It could
Put in
fall
the
out,
front
though.
pocket.
Listen, if you really want to be prepared, just keep it in your hand the whole game. Just
Well,
hold
then how do
it.
you take notes when he
Hold
has
it.
that little note
Guys,
I
That's
do
pencil.
talk to text, and I have it hooked up to me, and I'm talking right into that.
What about
thing.
if you put it
As
around
a-
your neck?
As a weird aside,
terrible.
do you think
Screw
Belichick keeps those little pages of notes that he writes every game to where he could do a book at the at
Absolutely.
the end of his life? Do you think he's got
Oh
all
yeah,
of
he's
them
got those filing
cataloged?
cabinets. You go in there, and it's
Yep.
like, this is from that
Yep.
season. This is from that season.
And all of
Oh,
a
yeah,
sudden
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, here, turn this into a
Yeah.
book.
Yeah.
Halberstam
And he could-
Jr.
Yep, and he could absolutely make money. It's like an artist who releases the unpublished
Oh, yeah.
songs
People
or
would be
whatever.
all
Oh, I
over
need
that.
a little money. Why don't we put out
Here's
a
my
new
toilet
CD?
doodles.
Wow.
Yeah,
Put 'em in a
he
book.
could absolutely do that. I mean, I don't think he'll ever need the money.
Sorry,
because
quick aside there, because I've
owns
always
half
wondered
of it.
about
I'm
that.
sure he does. I'm
Oh,
sure
you
he
don't?
does.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy has everything.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember Spygate. There were files. There was
No, those are gone.
every-
We're not
he
going to talk about
keeps
those. We've moved on
everything.
from those.
Yeah, but these are okay.
Those
Yeah.
are gone with a keystroke.
That's true. So I think Justin Jefferson is a better player than Dalvin Cook, but when you look at the games the Patriots have lost this year, they got torched on the ground. Now, part of that was Lamar Jackson and Justin Fields, but also the two running backs from Green Bay had a monster day as well. Who do you think Bill will try to more take out? Is it Jefferson or Dalvin Cook?
I think Jefferson, and then it's on probably Hawkinson, Cook to win the game, and that's not that hard.
Yeah, no,
division,
not bad.
right? No, I definitely think they're going to play typical Patriot defense. They're going to try to take away the star, the best weapon. And it's Kirk Cousins, and we joke about the primetime thing, but anybody who watches full games of Kirk Cousins, you shake your head multiple times a game, right? Like the Bills game. There's just throws, playoff games. There's just throws where you're like, how many years you been in the league? How good are you? And I found it interesting this week, and get ready for your brag if you have a brag on Friday. But we were recording the Six Rings podcast this week with Phil Mackey from a popular podcast in Minnesota. And we were talking about how Kirk Cousins' statistics are down this year. And he actually painted that as a good thing and part of the reason that the Vikings are winning. And the way he explained it is they are basically, for example, the catch that Jefferson had in the Bills game, that crazy catch.
Yeah.
He said if you go back and look at the highlights, it was 18, 3rd and 18, 4th and was it 4th and 18?
That was
Fourth down.
fourth down.
Fourth
Yeah,
down.
4th
Yeah.
and 18, I think. Yeah.
He said you go back and look at the highlights, and T.J. Hawkinson is wide open at 9 yards. And he believes old Kirk Cousins, prior to this year, would have hit Hawkinson, who then would have been tackled after a 12 or a 14-yard gain, and you turn the ball over on downs and you lose the game. But his statistics show, he got yards, completions, he's efficient. Check down Charlie. And we've seen that from him in games. Apparently, and again, we've heard this a little bit around here, they're asking him to throw up 50-50 balls down the field to
boy.
his receivers and
Well,
make plays
listen, if you have
down the
Jefferson
field.
and Thielen, 50-50
Exactly.
ball might actually work
There
in your
you go.
favor. So
Exactly.
that's sort of
Now,
different.
but it's less efficient.
Yeah.
That's why maybe his passer, because he was always one of those guys. His passer rating would always be a buck.
103,
8, a buck
105.
10.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's-
He was, and this year he's down in the mid 80s.
Right.
But if you talk to some of the people that are watching the games, it's because he is giving those guys opportunities to make plays. And you're right. I mean, there's a big difference between telling your quarterback to give 50-50 ball chances to Justin Jefferson and T.J. Hawkinson and Adam Thielen as opposed to Devontae Parker and Tyquan Thornton and whoever else you want to roll out there for Max. So
it's crazy to think that you're now deprogramming quarterbacks after telling them don't turn it over, don't make risky 50-50 throws, to now being like, we'll embrace those.
Well, I kind of It's an interesting league, and everybody's been talking about points being down and rushing being up a little bit, and now we're talking about 50-50 plays, which are less efficient. I do find that kind of interesting, maybe the evolution, and I don't mind that style of play. If it's like run, then play action, take a shot, run, play action, take a shot. Like, I think that can be a fun form of football. But
is it efficient for winning?
Well, they're 8-2. I mean, that's a pretty good record. And apparently Cousins has been making more plays late in games, game-winning drives, fourth quarter type plays that a lot of the Minnesota fans used to mock. So it's a different evolution because we were so in the world of everybody should have like a 115 passer rating and you need to complete 85% of your passes. Well, guess what? Mac Jones had a 105 passer rating and completed 86% of his passes last week. He scored 3 points, right? They scored 3 points. Like, I know Bill says they moved the ball up and down the field, which I push back a little bit against. But that was not – it was efficient in the numbers. It wasn't efficient on the scoreboard, so maybe we're going in a little bit of a different direction league-wide.
What does a good day for the Patriots offense look like to you tomorrow night? Is there a certain score they got to hit? Is it more just not turning it over? Like, is there a certain metric where you would – start the post game tomorrow night by saying, you know what, that was a good offensive performance?
First and foremost, I would look at QB hits, pressures, things of that nature. You have to nip that in the bud. And, you know, the David Andrews thing, I know he's on the practice field, and I just find it hard to believe the turnaround. Are we really going to go from Sunday season ending to Thursday he's on the field?
That'd be something,
It would be. So I don't think he's going to be out, which means James Ferentz is going to be next to Cole Strange, which has been a recipe for disaster this year. And then Wynn is not out there. So you got to find a way to give a little bit of a wall there, because I think the next thing I'd be looking at is I think you need Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson to probably be up somewhere around 150, 160 yards of total offense. Like, it can be a little bit like last week where Harris was more the runner and Stevenson was the receiver, and they were getting it that way, or vice versa. But I think those guys need to be the foundation of your offense and of your moving the ball. The alarming thing to me, talking about the offensive line, was you took your one star from the first half of the season, Ramondre Stevenson, and he had a bad game last week. It was 15 for 26 on the ground.
Yeah.
Now you know your offensive line is regressing. Mac's getting sacked 6 times, and Ramondre Stevenson is getting tackled for losses in the backfield with regularity.
Andy Hart will be with Fitzy tomorrow night after the game right here on WEEI for the Six Rings post-game show. And then Hart and I will be in here on Friday breaking it all down from 10 to 2.
You want me to bring some eggnog and some whiskey so you can give it any old
Listen,
try?
If you want to, go right ahead.
Sounds great.
Okay,
I'm
I may
not
bring
touching
some in.
any of that stuff.
No, I just said you got to try it if I bring it in.
No, I don't have to do
Why?
anything.
It's Awaken 180 approved. I asked Paige.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Yes.
I didn't, but Buffalo wings are, so
unlikely.
we got that.
True.
Yeah.
There's stuff you can eat.
Eggnog just sounds gross.
But it tastes.
It's not for everybody.
No, it isn't.
It's not. Don't stop pushing it, Hart. You're a pusher.
Right.
It's
A
not
little
for
bit.
everybody. People either enjoy it.
Well,
or
I want
don't.
again-
people to feel the joy that I feel.
He's
I
living,
like to spread joy in this world.
He has
right?
to live up to the D on his hat.
Yeah, he has.
Dominant, dynamic,
Right.
debauchery.
Dink.
Dink.
There you go. Thank you. Hart, we'll see you. Have a great holiday, man.
See ya. Happy
See ya.
Thanksgiving,
Happy
everyone.
Thanksgiving.
There goes our buddy Andy Hart.